Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Regista Football Podcast. My name is Jack, one of your co-hosts. I am, as always, joined here by Ben. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic, Jack. Wonderful Thursday. Nice couple of games we had. I'm enjoying that we're doing this again so quickly after our last meeting.
I think this is the optimum way of doing it, but it's so difficult to organize these back to back. But we've managed to do it this week. We're very excited to talk about the Champions League action that happened in the last few days. This is another pub diaries, if you can't tell by the background noise. A couple reasons for that. One, this was kind of like the ideal format for the way we wanted to review games. But two, we also really like having a beer, don't we, Ben?
We absolutely do. A beer's nice. Football's even better.
I agree. So we right now we are at Blind Lady Ale House in Normal Heights in San Diego. I would say, at least from my perspective, this is one of the premier places to drink beer in the whole of San Diego. They've been around since 2009. They serve some of the best craft beer, and not just craft beer, but European domestic beer from the rest of the world. This is a great spot, and we're very excited to talk about football with you lot today. So, what are we going to discuss? So we're going to talk about the current setup of the Champions League, go over the table, talk about some of the teams that are currently standing, have interesting possessions. We're then going to get into the Champions League reviews of the games, Marseille versus Liverpool, Inter Milan versus Arsenal. We're going to introduce a new segment that comes along with those games as well. And if we have time at the end, we're going to introduce another new segment, which is called Hot or Cold. I guess let's get into it. Let's talk about the current standing of the table then. So we'll just go from 1 to 8. Actually, let's go from 1 to... Fucking hell, man. 24 teams get past this. Let's just go to 1 to 8. So Arsenal lie top, perfect record, 21 points. Bayern Munich are second. Not as much of a perfect record, but almost there with 18 points. Real Madrid sit third with 15 points. Liverpool sit fourth with 15 points. Tottenham Hotspur somehow sit fifth with 14 points. Paris Saint-Germain sit sixth with 13 points. Newcastle sit seventh with 13 points. And Chelsea sit eighth with 13 points. Anything there that particularly surprises you, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that does surprise me is how high Tottenham are, considering they weren't in the competition last year. But maybe they just had a better draw than usual. What also surprises me is in that top 8, we don't have Barcelona. We don't have Man City. And, apart from that, maybe Inter, Juventus are probably other teams I'd expect up there. But it was very surprising that we have that we're missing those teams. But also, as you look at those 13 points, we only went up down to Chelsea for 13 points. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other teams who are on 13 points. So this final game week could have a lot of crazy results. Yeah,
I agree. And the thing that I think is surprising, and I do take the Tottenham Hotspur thing seriously, they're fifth, which is really good. They've won some pretty tough games in the Champions League this far. I honestly think it comes down to how Thomas Frank has them playing. They're quite good defensively.
Yeah.
They're pretty direct, and I think teams in European competition struggle to deal with that a bit more. Paris, you'd expect them to be there, probably doing a bit better. They've lost 2. Newcastle doing extremely well on 13 points. Who do they have in their last game, Newcastle? Let's check that real quick. PSG. That's an exciting game.
Yeah.
Newcastle PSG at the Parc des Princes, that's a great game to finish it off. What that does is that will give Barcelona, Man City, Sporting, Atleti entrance back into those top 8 spots, depending on how that goes. So that's a really important game for the rest of the Champions League. One of the games I want to highlight is Manchester City losing to Bodo Glimt.
That was a wild result.
Did you see? There's something that came out after that game, which I wanted to bring up here.
About Rodri?
Actually, about them saying that they would refund all of the travel.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is... I have to say, I think that's ludicrous. Can I explain why?
Of course.
You're not entitled to win football matches. Fans go to watch football not knowing the outcome. Because you lose, should City beat Bodo Glimt? Probably. But, come on, man. You're not entitled to a refund because your team didn't win. That's the most entitled shit I've ever seen.
It's woke football, Jack. That's what it is.
It's wild, man. So, like, yeah, that was a really weird game.
Yeah.
Really good goals in that game as well.
Did you see
actually.
what else came out after it about the possible game fixing by Rodri?
No.
So there were a couple of bets made from Rodri's hometown, small little hometown, Spain, that he would get a red card in the second half. And he got 2 yellows very close back to back to get a red in the second half. So there's an investigation going on to see if there was game fixing at all.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I guess we'll, that's another couple of charges to add to the 115, right?
Yep.
I guess we'll see how that goes. But overall, I think the Champions League has been good thus far. I actually have a question for you. We're some ways into these 2 Champions League seasons. How are you feeling about the new format?
At first, I really hated the new format, mainly because it's just so many more games,
Yeah.
and I get that people are like, "Oh, more football equals more fun," but like more football for a side who isn't as deep as Arsenal, and we weren't this deep last year.
No, you weren't.
Right? We are this successful because of how deep our squad is,
Yeah.
but that kind of leaves some of the other teams who get to have this opportunity to face big sides.
For sure.
And if you go down and look at the bottom half of the table, right? Yes, you have more teams in there, but like, what's really happening to these teams? Are they actually getting the benefits, or are the teams who are up top, who are already wealthy, getting more of the benefits of this competition?
I think that's a valid point. I guess from my perspective, at least what they said, the intention behind changing the format was to get more exciting games more regularly. I would argue that has worked.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
From my perspective, though, and maybe I'm just a purist, I don't want to be playing Real Madrid, Arsenal, PSG, all of those teams in the group stages all the time. I think, like, from where I stand anyway, I would much prefer those bigger games to have more riding on them.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously in the knockout stages, over 2 legs, a bit more serious. Those games mean a bit more. I understand why they did it, because quite frankly, there'd be games within the group stage in previous format that was like kind of dead rubbers, like almost pointless.
Yeah.
I understand why they've done it this way, but it's interesting. The funny thing about this actually is, and I don't know if you disagree with me, Liverpool came first last year, and we saw no benefit of that. We played PSG in the first round after the group stage. So we'll see the benefit of actually finishing in the top spots, as opposed to what would have meant finishing top of your group in the previous Champions League format.
There is one change to the league format this year, which guarantees the team who has the higher position after the group stage to have home advantage on the second leg.
Interesting. So it's almost like seeding.
It's like seeding. So basically, Arsenal, if we finish at the top, we have home advantage on the second match all the way through until the semis.
Wow, that's actually nuts.
Yeah. So there is an incentive now to actually to finish higher.
Yeah, and like coming like second. Well, having the home game second is quite important.
Yeah.
I've seen that lots of times as a Liverpool fan. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Excited to see how like the rest of the Champions League goes, who ends up making it in those top 8 spots. But like, I'm kind of a bit hot and cold on the new format. I'd like to see how it kind of pans out over the space of the next few years. Obviously, like, I think they'd be willing to make adjustments to the rule sets, and I think that's probably a good thing if they're willing to tweak it kind of on the spot or on the bounce. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into the UCL reviews then. Let's do the more emphatic game first, I think.
Sure.
So let's do Marseille versus Liverpool. Great game, actually. I'll tell you this. The game was more favourable to Liverpool than I expected it to be. If you remember our predictions for this game.
I do remember our predictions, Jack.
You predicted 2-0 to Liverpool, and I predicted 2-1 to Liverpool. Liverpool won 3-0, so they won by a higher margin than that. Believe it or not, but we've just extended our unbeaten run to 13, and that's the highest or longest unbeaten run in Europe's top 5 leagues.
Okay.
That's kind of nuts, isn't it? So it goes to show, like, whatever we're doing defensively or structurally is working. And talking about structurally, Liverpool are doing something kind of unique in this game. And it's funny because I've seen, like, a lot of analysis pieces about this, and it makes perfect sense. So Liverpool in possession were playing basically a 4-2-2-2, very akin to what you define as like how Red Bull would have played, like Salzburg and Leipzig would have played 4 or 5 years ago. Typically, like, imagine the back four, they're pretty stationary, unless the fullbacks go high, which supplies all of the width for Liverpool. I guess the biggest intention for this was to find all of the creative players in half spaces, and you could see that throughout the whole of the game. Passes were being pinged from like deep in the midfield to those half spaces, or the centre backs were pinging those half space passes, and like bunch of rotations in those half spaces. Sometimes Salah would pop up there, sometimes Wirtz would pop up there, sometimes Szoboszlai would pop up there. But like what that formation allows you to do, because the two are typically spread high and wide. They can interchange positions very easily, and it worked really, really well for the type of profile Liverpool had.
So if I can just take a minute to kind of visualize this, Jack. So we kind of have four in the back, right? Generally flat unless your wingers are going up. Then you have two. Are those second deepest two narrow or are they wide?
Narrow.
Okay, and then after that you have two wide.
Narrow.
Two narrow.
Because they essentially, so I was going to say, they're trying to create a box midfield.
Okay,
that's kind of the idea of it. So like those two attacking mids essentially will come to create a box midfield.
All right.
I could see that every single time there was a goal kick, and every time they were building it from the back, they were essentially trying to utilize those half spaces with that box midfield and the rotations in that box midfield, and it worked really well.
And kind of what's happening then, I guess, basically is as you progress the ball, that 4 drops up and becomes a 2-4.
Yes.
2-2, exactly, and then becomes a 2-3 or 2-3-3-2 potentially.
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree, and then that continues up until you overload the final third.
Yeah. Okay. They were also doing this thing where they were switching occasionally to a 3-4-3 system.
Okay.
Where Gravenberch was sitting in, coming almost as the central centre back.
Yeah.
And the two wing backs, the two fullbacks were playing in midfield. Very similar to Conte's Chelsea.
Okay.
Like that type of setup. It was very interesting. I'd never seen it before, but in retrospect, if you think about the profiles Liverpool have, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Bunch of kind of tight space technical players, and that system really utilized their skill sets, at least from my perspective. Let's talk about the first half then. So this is a game where you can see the profiles of the players in the previous squad, at least for me. What the biggest standout for me ultimately was the amount of high turnovers we were creating in that game. Liverpool weren't particularly aggressive pressing either. It was really just the structure, the defensive structure we were playing, and Marseille were really struggling to build up in that first half. Typically what would happen is they'd create our normal mid-block system, so the 4-2-4, but they were really struggling to get the ball into their pivot players, and as they were trying to pass around, our team would orientate. Imagine, the way I like to put it is, imagine that front four, imagine one guy's on a rope, and you're curving round constantly, trying to cut off passing lanes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they were doing. It was working really, really well. In that first half, Marseille lost the ball 16 times in their own defensive half.
Wow.
Which is an extremely high number.
Yeah.
Almost Klopp-esque, honestly. The way they were pressed, the way they were creating high turnovers. Actually, after that game, Virgil in the post-match press conference said disrupting their build-up was a vital part of how they wanted to play.
Yeah.
And he actually gave, we did, De Zerbi a bunch of credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when we were talking about this ahead of time, we were talking about the transitions that we were creating by De Zerbi, right? And so by being able to disrupt those transitions, you kind of nullify the strength. I remember when I was watching those early stages of the match, I was like, if you put some blue stripes on this team, I know exactly what team this is.
Yeah, it looked very similar in terms of structure, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, that was the main thing that really stood out to me in that first half. One of the other things, although we were creating a bunch of high turnovers, at times I felt like the last vital pass was off. They were making incorrect decisions, or they were under-hit passes, which don't show up on the stats, but if you watch it, you can see it with the eye test, and it was happening quite consistently.
Yeah.
I would say big things for this game. Salah comes back in. immediately.
Yep.
Made a big difference. He was basically playing a striker.
Yeah.
With that Katike.
Yeah.
Salah comes in, and Konate had a family issue. So he decided to, well, not decided, I think the club gave him a leave of absence. It's actually come out more recently that his father passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're probably not going to listen to this, Ibu, but condolences. That's really sad news. But on the flip side, I could see the difference in ball playing ability from Konate to Gomez. I think from my perspective, Gomez has always been a better ball playing centre back than Konate. You just can't quite trust him to stay fit. He's not as explosive along the ground. So like sweeping, one-on-one defending, he's not quite as strong as Konate, but you could definitely see the passes into those half spaces or into that midfield box were really high. In fact, Gomez had the most passes coming out of the back with 100% pass accuracy the whole of that game.
Wow.
So like he played very well, he did it very well. Really doing a good job at finding people in between the lines consistently throughout that first half. Another thing that really stood out to me was typically Liverpool like to go man-to-man in second halves of games, mainly because I think they use it as like a game management tactic. They play zonally in the first half and man-to-man in the second half. Not this game. They were man-to-man immediately from the jump.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of disrupting the build-up of De Zerbi.
Yep.
I could see constantly where players were trying to free themselves, trying to get open to give Marseille's centre-backs options for passes.
Yeah.
And even our pivots would follow them out wide at times, just to try and stop them from getting on the ball. I want to see more of that. Like, if that's something that works so effectively against teams that like build-up, please do that. I think what it does do, though, is if one of the like assignments gets miffed or gets fucked up, the ball in between the lines is easy from the centre back's perspective. So there is a risk you're playing there. But I think, at least from my perspective, if a team who are so akin and so used to build up can get disrupted by that, it should be something that you're willing to risk going forward.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, you kind of have to take the risk of being able to break through and trust your team to be able to, one, your attackers to be able to make those passes through as an attacking
I completely
side.
agree.
Yeah.
Do Arsenal typically play like man-to-man like all the time, or are they more zonal?
They are very much more zonal. And they will go man-to-man on occasion.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess, so like, I think operationally and structurally, Arsenal are much better than Liverpool. I always praise like
Currently.
I always praise how like good Arsenal are with that mid-block. Like, the players are like they're being controlled by AI. They know exactly what they're doing constantly. Liverpool not quite that. And I think at times, especially in this game, as I kind of alluded to, Liverpool at times was still too easy to play through. Like the pivots were getting the ball, but I think that's a risky run when you do play man-to-man. So I'm happy to see they were willing to take that risk defensively, and frankly, it paid off, and it paid off in a big way. Marseille only had one shot in that first half. It was a shot on target, but it wasn't a particularly high-quality chance. In that first half, they came away with 0.03 XG, which is kind of as good a first half you can have defensively.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. When was the last time, Ben, you saw a player score a free kick by putting the ball underneath the wall?
I was watching this game, and I stepped away real quick because I was like, oh, it's like this free kick's gonna hit this wall or something. That's like not quite where Spaz needs to go, or where he's like the most dangerous. And then I just hear the cheer, and I'm like, how did that go? And I walk back, and I'm like, why is there no one laying down on the ground? Like that is absolutely what he's. As soon as Spaz saw that, he has the skill, he has the ability to go under the wall. That was spectacular, but it was also, I don't know, early 2000s.
It is. It's funny actually because like as a Liverpool fan, I remember Coutinho used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
And I think Coutinho was the catalyst for people actually starting to put people under the wall. It's why you do it.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I remember watching that goal. I mean, it was only yesterday. I should fucking remember it. I was just giggling when he scored that goal. It was so like such an absurd goal to score in modern football. It's really I've really, really enjoyed that. But that put Liverpool 1-0 up, and we went 1-0 up going into the first half. Szoboszlai, the free kick taker, here's a stat for you. Szoboszlai is the third LFC player to be involved in a goal on 5 separate occasions in a row in the Champions League. The other 2, Gerrard has done it twice, and Salah has done it once.
Okay.
So Szoboszlai is having an impact in this competition.
Yeah.
And to be fair, even since last season, he was really good in the Champions League. He's always been quite good in the Champions League. Second half. Liverpool definitely came out to defend the lead in the second half. I think Liverpool were much more passive. You can see by the difference in possession stats. Liverpool finished the game with 40% possession. Marseille are able to create more in the second half, but I don't think anything is particularly huge. I think the best chance they had was off a counter-attack. Mason Greenwood all day was giving us trouble. Firstly, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But secondly, he was giving us trouble. Really, really solid ball carrier, good on both feet. He put a ball through to Traore on the counter-attack, and he kind of skied it over the bar. It was kind of difficult because he hit it first time essentially outside of the box. He had time to move forward with the ball, but he decided to hit it first time and he skied it over the bar. But that chance was only worth 0.24 XG, and that was the best chance they had all game. So Liverpool did quite well defending their box in the second half. Liverpool's goals in the second half. So the second goal was scored by Jeremy Frimpong, and it was essentially a really, really beautiful bit of play in the attacking third from Liverpool. They win the ball up high again. Some really nice interplay between Wirtz, Szoboszlai, and Ekitike. Szoboszlai picks up the ball and rifles it to Frimpong on that right-hand side. And what Frimpong does is he beats his man on the outside. He's really, really good at it. Beats his man, hits the ball across goal, really somehow gets a foot to it and ends up going to the goal for an own goal. In any different situation, a player gets his foot on there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, great goal.
Yeah, Jack, I actually want to talk about this specific move a little bit because I've been noticing it more and more, especially with teams that are facing low blocks, teams who are facing defenses who get really compact in the box, and having a winger, and in this case, a right back who can drop their shoulder, get past that defender, get to the line, and then put the ball into a dangerous zone or take a shot themselves is becoming a lot more common when you are facing up those. Rather than taking that cross up and above, relying on that skill, and it's just a really fun part of football to watch for me right now.
I completely agree, and what have I been saying all year? Liverpool need a 1v1 specialist.
Yeah.
Frimpong's been injured all of the year. I wouldn't call him a specialist, but he's very, very good at it. And you can see, in situations where teams defend deep, or just to create chaos, it's such a good way to do that. Even if it's just a case of getting to the byline and flashing balls across the box, it adds to this degree of uncertainty to the opponents. And Frimpong is really, really good at that, and that puts us 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Once we're 2-0, I've not been so confident of a Liverpool team at 2-0 the whole of the season. Marseille don't do much. I actually think Marseille are relatively poor on the day. I don't think they do a lot to hurt Liverpool throughout the whole of the game. They have some chances in the second half, but at least from my perspective, especially after watching Liverpool the last few weeks, I didn't feel nervous at all. You must have watched that second half. How did you feel about that? Did you feel Liverpool were close to conceding? Did you feel Liverpool were under some danger? Tell me.
I watched the second half, and I was surprised how comfortable Liverpool looked.
Yeah.
And I was surprised about how much Marseille couldn't really figure out what to do next.
Yes.
As I was watching the second half, I actually felt like this looked very much a Liverpool versus bottom half Premier League table team.
I know what you mean.
And so I was waiting for the thing to happen where De Zerbi tries something new.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get his team to do it.
No, I kind of felt as if it's difficult because they started with different personnel than I thought they would. So, for example, I thought Vermeeren was going to start.
Yeah.
And they start Kondogbia, and on the day, I think that's a bad move. Wirtz absolutely destroys him on several occasions. Versus Vermeeren, who's a bit more mobile and can get around a bit better. I thought that was a very strange selection decision.
Yeah.
But overall, even when he made subs, and he did make subs, I think Traore comes on. Mason Greenwood starts. They bring on some like Paixão comes on. They don't danger Liverpool a lot. Liverpool defend their box incredibly well. I think the midfielders they're showing more intensity in the last few games than they were earlier on in the season.
Yeah.
And it's paying dividends. Like when
I was also surprised that Alba didn't start this game.
Yeah.
Especially as someone who has experience against this specific team.
I agree.
And some of these defenders also.
He's also their star.
Yeah, he's
I
their
don't
starter.
understand.
I was really confused about why he didn't start and why he came in on later.
I agree. Overall opinion of the match, I thought Liverpool played very well. This is arguably, it's difficult for me to say the best performance of the season. I still think that's probably Real Madrid, given the quality of the team he faced.
Yeah.
But the performance overall was excellent. Really good building blocks, even in terms of like playing structure. I'd be curious to see how teams adapt to that in the Premier League, that 4-2-2 setup. But overall, I'm very happy with how Liverpool played and kind of what we did to get the most out of the game. Let's talk about my personal player of the match. I'm going to have to go with Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, he's proven to be somewhat unreliable in terms of availability. But I'll tell you, whenever Joe Gomez is needed and he's fit, he plays his ass off. He's the longest serving Liverpool player. I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about Joe Gomez, there was a time where he gets a header in the box, and I thought he was going to score. And honestly, if he'd have scored, I'd have ran around my house like going mental.
It's really funny. So right after, there's a split second right after Frimpong scored, like you see Joe Gomez's face, and he's just like, "How the hell did this guy score before I scored?"
It's so funny.
And I felt so bad for him in that moment. And I was like, "Ah, man, like that must suck." But yeah, he's a consummate, just professional. He's there. He's willing to play the part he needs to play for this squad.
I agree. Another thing, he has such good chemistry with Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
He won the Premier League as a centre-back partner with Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So they're really good friends. He's been there. They've both been there for such a long time, and you can see it. Like they know exactly how each other play. He's a legitimate option for Liverpool centre-back. I will never hear that he's not. I just wish his injury record was better.
Yeah.
Let's get into the new segment then. So we're going to go into lucky or good. What this segment is essentially going to do is we're going to analyze each of the goals scored. We're going to define whether those goals were lucky or were they good.
That's a good segment title.
Let's do it. So, Szoboszlai 1-0. Ben, what's your verdict? Is that lucky or is that good?
It was so smart. I'm gonna say it's good. I would say it was lucky if someone was laying down and he got it around him or something like that. But I think they analyzed the situation. Spaz was like, "Yeah, you know what? Let me go at this."
Actually, Dominic said in the post-match press conference, he was given the official man of the match.
Uh-huh.
He said in the post-match, he did his homework and he was told by the staff if they often don't put someone underneath the wall. So if they don't, put it under the wall. So Liverpool prepped for this.
Yeah.
So to me, I can't say this is lucky. This is good.
Yeah.
This is homework that was done by Liverpool squad, and it pays dividends. So goal one, lucky. Do we agree?
Goal one, good.
Actually, good.
Good.
Not
Yes,
lucky.
absolutely. Yeah, goal one's good.
Goal one is good.
Yeah.
Do we agree?
Agreed.
Goal two, Frimpong. Like I said, brilliant bit of football. Frimpong gets the ball. I think by virtue of the fact that it's an own goal, is lucky.
Yeah.
But the play is excellent to get to the byline.
I absolutely agree with that. Getting to the byline, getting the defense panicked. And then if it had not been an own goal, Mo was there to clean it up.
Yeah.
If Mo couldn't clean it up, Ekitike was right behind him to clean it up. And so either way, the play was good and the plays will cause the goal. And I would say it was a good goal.
I disagree with you.
No, you're going to go lucky?
I'm going to go lucky.
All right.
Anytime it's an own goal, because what we're thinking about here is like hypothetical scenarios of how it could have gone differently, right?
Sure.
But it didn't. It was an own goal.
Yeah.
For me, like, just the fact that the goalkeeper gets a touch on it and it still happens to go in, I have to put that as lucky.
All right.
What's your verdict on it? Lucky or good?
You flipped me. I want to try to argue for you, say it was good, but I guess, any own goal should be lucky.
Yeah, I do think it's lucky at the end of the day. The third is just good.
Yeah.
Great pass by Joe Gomez into Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has this gorgeous flick around the corner to Gravenberch, who absolutely rifles the ball into Gakpo. And that's what Gakpo's bread and butter is, man. It's cutting inside.
Yeah.
Like, huge drilled shot into the bottom right. The XG for that goal was 0.31, but XG on target is 0.86. Like, it's as good
It's a 55
as good of a chance
XG
you
spread
can
on
do.
there,
So,
yeah.
like, for me, that's good. Agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think the one thing was, where was Marseille on that goal?
Yeah.
They just
They just
dropped
get
off
paid for it.
completely.
I think they look knackered to me.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of that second half, Liverpool having basically free reign once they play the ball in between the lines.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was down to how quickly you were playing it through the lines. It reminded me of Jurgen football, all that game. I'll be honest with you, man. Really, really nice to see. But goal 3. Lucky or good then?
I'm going to go good.
I'm going to go good too.
Good goal.
So Liverpool scored 3 on the day. 2 of those goals are good. 1 of those goals is lucky. I will take that as a spread. Let's get into Inter versus Arsenal then.
Yeah, of course. Inter versus Arsenal. So this was the only match that Arsenal lost in the group stages last season. So coming into this game, it was kind of nervy, kind of understanding like, okay, we're gonna have to prove ourselves here. Arsenal played before this game Inter 3 times in their history, lost 2-1-1. So this was kind of like a time to come back and prove themselves. Before this game, our predictions were gonna kind of say it was gonna be kind of like a stinky, boring game. Jack, I believe you had a 0-0 on that prediction. I was trying to be positive. I didn't think Arsenal was going to keep a clean sheet. I said it was going to be a 1-2, largely because of the overall quality that Arsenal had. Going into the team selection, I was actually really happy that Gabriel Jesus finally started. I think he should have started over the weekend against Forest, but I was happy that he finally started. This is his first start in 14 months.
I think that was our call too, right?
Yeah.
We said Jesus should start this game.
Yeah, we said that Jesus would start.
He made a difference, man. Like, and you could see actually with the first goal he scored. That interplay in the box before the first goal. We'll get over whether I think it's lucky or good or not. But like the interplay, Gyökeres isn't doing it. Like he's just not.
No.
So I think you could see the qualities of Jesus just shine with how that first goal goes.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of selection, Jesus was the right choice.
Yeah. Jesus was the right choice. For start up on the left was actually surprising. Martinelli's been getting those starts, and he's actually been doing really good in the Champions League. But getting Trossard that start could have been either just game management, whatever else.
Yeah.
It could have just been also the kind of control the Arsenal wanted in the final third. We talked about that. And then apart from that, the only other thing that kind of surprised me was Declan Rice wasn't getting the start in this.
I thought that was nuts. Actually, the thing that surprised me most, I won't use the term surprised, I'll use the term impressed me most. Arsenal have 7 changes going to the San Siro.
Yeah.
7 changes.
Yeah.
And they come out with a 3-1 win. It's wild.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's crazy. That goes to show the quality of squad depth you've built over the last few years. But overall, I think the starting squad it made sense to me, aside from Rice. And you can see Rice's impact when he eventually came on the pitch, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was definitely a place for Rice, and it wasn't in the beginning of the game plan. Arsenal came out fast, and what I wanted in this game was tempo. I wanted it go from the beginning, make Inter uncomfortable, and that's exactly what they did. They had positional rotation in those first 10 to 20 minutes from the midfield, where Inter just didn't know who they needed to press, they didn't know who was going to be there. And so it was a really, really fun kind of start of the game. There was a shot on goal immediately as soon as the game started.
I remember that one. I think from my perspective, the standout at the start of the game was, I remember when we discussed how slow they are at build-up.
Yeah.
You guys were having none of it. It was we know what you're going to try and do and how you're going to try and build through the thirds. We're on you. As soon as that ball gets played out from the goalkeeper, we're on top of you. And I remember sending you a text message. You're on these really, really fast start.
Yeah, we really forced them to play the ball quickly from the back. We didn't let them settle in. We didn't want to let them actually hold on the ball and get it to those wingers. There were a couple of different press triggers. So anytime one of the center backs got the ball, Eza would always press the left center back, and then you'd also see Gabriel Jesus like press into the center back,
Yeah.
so that the only option was either go long or to go wide. And
Yeah.
if they went wide, the start was there, right? And so that left side was an area of focus where they would really put in that press, which I saw, and you would turn over the ball. And also, what you would do is because the attacking Inter Milan players were kind of getting ready to make the run, there was just like dead space in the middle of the pitch. And so whenever you would pass that ball in, you'd have one of the Arsenal defenders or midfielders
Aggressive.
get the ball, and then it's a turnover immediately.
Yeah. I noticed that too, like putting a foot in really quickly. Actually, another big selection difference was something that surprised me at the start of the game. Alluding to that was Mosqueda. Mosqueda playing instead of Gabriel.
Yeah.
Mosqueda was incredibly front-footed this
Yeah.
game. Like, exactly as you just mentioned, whenever the ball be played into midfield, the recipient had no time to turn on the ball. Like, the defenders were up their ass almost immediately.
Yeah, I will say Mosqueda, like he was very impressive for coming off or starting this game after being out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like he did have some issues against Thuram that just kind of needed some suppression and just some understanding of how to deal with him. I think in the first half, he was actually giving Thuram a little bit too much space.
Yeah.
We'll get into the second half when he was like all over him.
I agree. I think there was a lot of Thuram's style is like very old style target man.
Yeah.
And I think you either need to understand whether you stand off that guy or you put pressure on him. And I think Mosqueda at times was like a little bit, what do I do? Do I go or do I stay? And I think it was giving Thuram time to get the ball down and kind of play it inside the shape.
Yeah.
I would say though that only really happened like after you scored, after you went 1-0 up. Before you went 1-0 up, you were all over them.
Yeah.
After you went 1-0 up, I think they managed to figure out some of the build-up stuff that was going on, and were giving you some problems in space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We score in the 10th minute. We'll go over lucky or good in a little bit on that goal. But it was a really great interplay, and it's really funny whenever I watch these games, I always watch the first watch is very emotional for me.
Yeah.
Because I just want to be in the moment. And the second watch, I actually like look at it a bit more critically. I want to like question the things that I thought while I was watching emotionally. When I was watching emotionally, I was actually texted a couple of my buddies, and I was like, man, like I'm just not impressed by Miles Lewis-Skelly. Like he needs more time to like get better. But then, like, when I rewatched it, because someone said, like, actually, he's been doing really good, and I think you said that
me,
too.
Yeah, it was me.
And I was like, okay, like, let me watch this a bit more critically. And when I rewatched it, I was like, you know what? This has been a really good game from Miles.
You know why I said that too? I think he is the only defender for Arsenal that consistently plays the ball in between the lines.
Yeah.
And he did it multiple times in that game.
Yeah. He can play the ball between the lines. He can get up into the box and provide support. And then he can also run back and boss the ball.
And also, like, if you're using him as a left back, if you use him like inverted high up, he can play almost in that like left half space.
Yeah.
And because he's a midfielder, he can put balls through like a midfielder.
Yeah.
Like you can see the quality of his through balls.
I mean, like he had that pass to Timber. Timber kind of scuffed it, and then because of where Gabriel Jesus was, he got that ball in. So, I think I got really nervous with the Inter counters.
Yes.
The closest thing I can think of Inter counters is probably like Liverpool counters in the last couple of years, with just most of all just going down the wing and just being like, oh no, I feel like a goal's coming in.
I thought DeMarco was good.
DeMarco was really good.
He has that like chance near the end of the first half, kind of like really good double
save. Yeah.
I think Martinez was silky throughout the whole of that game. I don't think Inter played particularly poorly, by the way.
No, yeah.
But I think Arsenal, over the course of the game, not even Edson, I thought you were just better.
Yeah, if you look at the first half, right, we can go over the second goal, but we'll go over that. But like the overall stats were pretty generally equal, other than XG.
Yeah.
Inter had 48% possession, 52 for Arsenal. They had a total of 9 shots. Arsenal had 10. They had 3 shots on target. Arsenal had 3.
Pretty close.
What was really crazy was the passes. Inter had 178 accurate passes Arsenal had 180
Very close.
accurate passes, so it's still very close overall. And well, I think the really big thing, what happened was like Inter won 64% of all the ground duels, which I thought was really interesting. Arsenal won the aerial duels, but Inter was more dominant on the ground, and I think they were able to keep. If they were able to keep the ball on the ground, they'd probably be a bit more successful.
I think a lot of that, though, at least from my perspective, like the pattern of the game was Arsenal press high, and Inter have to find ways to try and play into midfield.
Yep.
When they do, I think those players were typically coming on top. I don't think Zubimendi had a particularly great game.
Yeah.
I think, like, in terms of chasing the ball or actively being like a combatant to get the ball back once it's played into midfield, I don't think he was particularly good in that first half.
Yeah.
But most of the balls ultimately were played to Thuram, and Thuram did incredibly well. Most of the time he got the ball.
Yeah.
He's a huge handful.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we end the first half talk, there was a fun fact that I saw on Twitter, and I sent it to you. Inter had not conceded 2 goals at home in the first half in the Champions League for 15 years until Arsenal showed up.
It's nuts. And what was that second goal then?
That second goal, you know, it was a fun little goal. It was a classic set-piece play from Arsenal. There was a lot of things that happened in that goal, which were kind of crazy.
So, so there's 2 parts to me. I think it's really intelligent how the crosser, it's probably Saka.
It's Saka, yeah.
He noticed there's no one like marking Trossard right at the back post, so he plays it all the way over. I have to say, the centre-backs must be better.
Yeah.
It's fucking Jesus, man. He's
Yeah.
like 5'8".
Yeah.
But just putting the ball in that like corridor of uncertainty is like, from a heading perspective,
Yeah.
it's a good goal, man. Like it's very like very Arsenal type of goal.
It was very much an Arsenal type of goal. Once we went, I mean, we drew. We were tied at 1-1. We went up 2-1, and I think at that point was kind of like the confidence that Arsenal showed. Like, it's okay. Like, we'll find our goals, and maybe there was a drop in confidence for Inter as we go into the second half.
That was an absolute pelter.
Oh, absolutely.
Like from the edge of the box. Like
Wait. Save it for lucky you're good.
Okay.
Let's go to second half real quick. Yeah. I think in the second half, what I immediately noticed was Arsenal just wanted more control. They were less frantic. They weren't pressing as much. They still kind of had some of those pressing triggers overall. They wanted to keep the ball moving, and they kept separating that back line from that forward line, forcing that. Yeah, of course.
See the importance of set pieces again.
Yeah.
Like the ability to, although the game is close, go one up via set piece is huge.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you the ability to it's been even. We're just edging it right now. But you guys aren't going to get near our box again.
Yeah.
Like, we're just happy to control the ball, keep you from attacking our box. And I think that's what Arsenal were in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah. They felt comfortable because they felt like they were on top, and they really had just managed the game. Milan and it's funny we're talking about zonal versus man-to-man coverage, but Milan was doing a zonal compact kind of defense, getting into really close to where the ball was, but that was allowing Arsenal to get into wide spaces and leave them free.
Yes.
Over and over again. And then their higher defensive line really allowed Arsenal with wide wingers to get in and do those cutbacks as well. Like that cutback game that's happening in football right now, it's kind of fun for me to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
The first half or the second half kind of started out a little, a bit more balanced, and then Arsenal brought on 3 different people. 2 different people on the 63rd minute, White and Rice. And as soon as those 2 players came on, you're like, all right, we're going in for a bit more control. We're not really going to go in for the jugular, but we want to make sure that we have some attacking options. Rice is in for Eza. We have him more in a deeper midfield position. White in for Timber. I was surprised by this. I thought White was actually going to come in for Miles, and then Timber's going to switch to the other side.
Yeah, because he's typically played left
Yeah,
back.
exactly. It might just be managing minutes, making sure that he's fresh enough for the weekend. I really thought that we were lucky to have Lautaro also come off at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Ben White could manage Lautaro as well as Timber did.
I agree. Timber is like, what a fucking signing that guy is.
Yeah.
30-odd million.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I feel like at this point we have less pressing triggers in Inter's third. Arsenal's really going into controlling the game, playing a little bit longer and kind of adjusting to what's the next phase is. And in this game, it seemed like there was a plan. Like, we do this, we do this, we do this. When we are up, we bring in this control, and then we bring in a final attacking option, which starts with Gyökeres coming in and subbing for Gabriel Jesus, and eventually we get Mosquera, or Big Gabby in for Mosquera, and then we have Trossard come off, and we have Martinelli come on for Trossard.
It's so like, let's talk about these subs. I don't know if there's a team in Europe with that type of depth of the bench.
Yeah.
Bringing the, what's the term? Like, not the flexibility, but the luxury to bring Rice off the bench.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's replaced a guy who played very well and also cost 70 million. Mate.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only team in Europe that can do that.
Yeah.
Real Madrid can do that. Barcelona can do that. And it goes to show, like, what I've said time and time again, how you've, like, slowly built a squad over the last few years. And, like, each of these players are interchangeable. And you can see it a bunch in this game.
Yeah.
The game didn't change a lot once those subs were brought.
Yeah.
And it's just really fucking impressive to me.
What I really like about it is, as you mentioned, the game doesn't change. The game plan stays the same.
Yeah.
You have multiple positions, multiple people playing the same position, and you will alter and tweak it a little bit, right? You don't really focus on. Excuse me. You don't really focus on the game that you're playing, but more of the game state, and I think that's what the team is built for.
Definitely.
And you can do that early or you can do it late. It just depends on how much you want to do it at what point. Overall.
Can I glaze a player for a second?
Absolutely.
Bastoni is nuts.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some of the times where he was being pressed and some of the passes he made into midfield when he was being pressed, it's not only that impresses me about him. When they were in possession, there are times where he was essentially playing like in the left half space and at left midfield. Mm-hmm. He is an incredible player. Like, Liverpool, for the love of God, do something about this. He is so good. Like, to me, he was like, outside of Thuram, who I thought was the best player for Inter on the day. Lautaro did some good stuff, but Bastoni, man, like, I cannot take my eyes off of him when he's on a football pitch. He is so good.
Yeah.
Were you noticing what he was doing? Like, some of the stuff he was doing in that game?
Yeah. I really enjoyed his play and kind of really like link-up play, right?
Yeah,
he's
so
probably
good.
the one player that I noticed more than anyone else being able to get the ball to a place where it could threaten Arsenal. When it wasn't Thuram. And even, I feel like he had kind of outshined Lautaro in this game a little bit.
Thuram definitely did, 100%.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing that was impressive to me, especially from the back, was all types of distribution.
Yeah.
It was like pinged passes into midfield, lofted passes into midfield, the ability to pass around the corner, like, take the ball under pressure and distribute it. He's a phenomenal footballer, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just phenomenal footballer.
I will also say that I was pretty impressed by Esposito when he came on.
Yeah. Handful.
He was they had these two narrow, big, tall strikers.
Causing some problems.
Yeah, against our two big, tall defenders.
You know what I think that did? I think that Esposito pushed your backline backwards.
Yeah.
Like, almost to say, we're not going to defend you as high anymore, because what you're trying to do is essentially like lump it to these two big men and get knockdowns. I thought Barella was quite good.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Barella's best game, but like, I agree completely. Esposito was a handful. Thuram was a handful. Lautaro had moments, but I thought he was outshined by those two, honestly.
Yeah. And then, I think we just, like, as soon as we bring on Gyökeres for Gabriel Jesus and Big Gabby for Mosquera, Martinelli for Trossard, it's like lockdown mode.
Yeah.
Like the bus that Arsenal put in was definitely to make sure that nothing else got through. So they could at least defend the 2-1 lead, maybe potentially get another goal, and they did with that Gyökeres goal. This Gyökeres goal was very similar to what happened last week.
We will talk about this Gyökeres goal.
We will. We'll talk about this a little bit more in detail. But yeah, we had Gyökeres goal and kind of just closed out the game, shut it down, and was ready to go.
3-1. What's your if I was to ask you for 3 takeaways of this game?
Yeah.
From an Arsenal perspective, what would you say?
Arsenal was able to play the match and the team really well.
Yeah.
Arsenal was able to adapt to the situations and play the kind of football that was required during those situations.
I like that one. Yeah.
And then finally, we finished.
Yeah.
Like, there was good finishing.
Finish your chances.
Finishing our chances was what I said we needed to do to win this game. We finished our chances. I also called out that the first goal wins, and even though we gave up a goal, we still had the mentality of first goal wins going.
I agree.
And so they said, okay, we're back to draw, first goal wins. Let's go again. And I think that was the thing that actually got Arsenal past and won them this game.
I like that. I think, again, my big takeaway is how important set piece goals in tight games, man.
Yeah.
Not just for Arsenal. Not doing that ole bollocks. The fact that you're so good from set pieces changes the dynamic of a game for you. It's 1-1. It's still quite tight. The fact that you can take a tight game to a lead because you can score those set pieces, and then you can manage the game with the squad you have, is why I think Arsenal is so good.
Yeah. Player of the match for me. This is the official player of the match, but also he was the player of the match for me. And, there's another player that I will do an honorable mention, but player of the match was Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
He's the one who was in the right places at the right times, and that takes skill to know what the football game is about to be able to make those goals. Defensively, he was pressing, and he showed what is required to press.
I agree.
His passing was really great. His defensive worker, there was a couple of times that he was back on behind the 18. He would win the ball, he would pass it over, and immediately would take a sprint up the pitch. This man broke his knee last year,
Yeah.
and he's ready to go again.
He's always been a dog.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he's always been. A technically gifted, hard-working false nine.
Yeah, just false nine. He will do anything he can to win the game, and he was my man of the match. Honorable mention, Bukayo Saka, I think, really showed up. I think he did really good.
I thought he was your best player.
He was a captain, and I know you said he was the best player, and I thought about it, and I was like, I want to be able to say that too.
He was causing DeMarco so many fucking issues, man.
Yeah.
Especially early on.
Yeah.
Some of the balls that he was putting into the box, every time he faced up DeMarco, I felt like he was beating him with space. Fantastic performance from Saka.
Yeah. Should we go into the goals? Lucky or good? There's
sure.
4 goals in this game.
Let's do it.
0-1, Arsenal's first goal in the 10th minute, Gabriel Jesus. It had an XG of 0.51, XGOT of a 0.92.
Yeah.
This goal, you could see it happening. You were expecting it. Right? You have that pass into Timber, who slips, gets up, scuffs the ball. And did it have a deflection? Was there a deflection?
It was just scuffed.
It was a poorly scuffed ball, but then you have Gabriel Jesus, who is perfectly positioned, is waiting for the ball and just kind of jumps up in the air and redirects it into the side of the net.
So my take on this, I think it's both lucky and good.
Yeah.
I think it's really good for Jesus, he's Portuguese, to anticipate the ball being scuffed by Timber.
Yeah.
But it's insanely lucky that it happened to land there.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go with good, because ultimately we're talking about the goal itself.
Yeah.
And his thought process to read the ball that's been scuffed and come right on the end of it. By the way, after a beautiful bit of interplay in the box.
Oh, yeah.
One-touch passes all around the box. So, a 6-pass combination. Comes to Timber, he scuffs it, kind of gets played through perfectly because of the scuff
Yeah.
Jesus when he scores. I'm going to say good on
Like the position was lucky.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anyone else on that pitch who would have been in that spot at the right time to do that athletic move to get in the air and redirect that ball into the right place.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah. For me, that he made his luck to make it good.
So goal one, good.
Goal one, good. Next was two kick. It was 18th minute.
That's a good goal, man.
XG was 0.7. Yeah, XGOT was a 0.68. It was a good goal.
Crazy finish.
It was such a crazy. It was so wild. Like, it was one of those goals that happened when you felt like, please don't bounce around even more.
Yeah, yeah.
If it bounces around even more and there's someone who can finish that ball really well, it's going to go in. Yeah. He curls it around Zubamendi.
He does.
Right out of reach of David Raya. It was just, it was fantastic.
That has to be a good goal.
Yeah.
It's really hard to finish from there. And how he did it.
On a bouncing, moving ball.
Crazy, yeah. I think Zubamendi could do better.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and a crazy finish. So, goal two,
goal.
good.
Good goal.
So, 2 good goals so far.
2 good goals. Next goal, 1-2. This is the Gabriel Jesus goal off the set piece that we were talking about.
This is good as well for me.
For me, I think I will actually say it's lucky. There's a lot of different pieces of luck that I felt.
That's like set pieces, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. I mean,
it is.
Like, I thought Saka's delivery was way too long. It looked like Trossard was like running back because they didn't expect it to be that long.
Fair.
And then so he comes back. The ball is like on the line.
Yeah.
It is on the line, and Trossard has to knock it back.
It's on the goal line.
It's on the goal line. He knocks it back. It hits the crossbar and gets right in front of Gabriel's face, and all he has to do is which is he has to be at the right place. There's a lot of good things that he did. There's a lot of good things Trossard did, and that's why I'm like, as I keep watching over, I'm like, man, a lot of things worked our way.
A lot of things had to go right.
Yeah.
But I would argue this isn't the first time we've seen Arsenal score goals like that.
Yeah.
Like knocked back from the back post.
Yeah.
Like back across goal. I'm gonna say good.
Okay.
I think we've seen Arsenal score regularly enough from set piece routines like that. Well, I don't think it's lucky. I think it's good. I'm not sure if you agree, but
I'm gonna say there's a lot of luck in there. We made our luck, so we're good to make our luck.
So goal 3, lucky or good for Ben?
I'm gonna go good.
Okay, I'm gonna go good too. Goal 4.
Goal 4. This is a Gyökeres goal.
Pure luck.
XG 13, XGOT 0.56.
So I would say,
why is it luck?
I've criticized Gyökeres a lot. I thought the play before the goal from Gyökeres was great.
Yeah,
it's exactly what you want from him. Handful running onto it, really annoying to try and get off the ball once he gets it.
Yeah,
but he comes onto it, hits it with his right foot. The shot's crap. It's shit. It's not even in the corner.
Yeah.
Sommer's like an elite goalkeeper, by the way. He gets a full hand to it. Still goes in the goal. That's lucky for me.
I honestly think it was lucky as well. I thought that the play leading up to it was fantastic.
Very good.
As that play was going, I was literally like, this is what Gyökeres was bought to do. This is exactly what he was doing. Martinelli got to the ball. He looked up. He saw Gyökeres. He did a Trivela pass, a curved Trivela pass into his path. Gyökeres chests it down. He gets it. And I think the luck starts here when Bukayo Saka runs across and he tries to pass it into Bukayo's path, but Bukayo accidentally knocks it back, not knowing he's gonna knock it back. Yeah. And you saw his face. You're like, oh no, I wasn't expecting. That was a dummy run. That was supposed to be your ball.
So true.
And it knocks back to Gyökeres. The defender overruns it. He comes back around.
Just hits it.
And bang, very soft kind of curving ball. And Summer should have stopped that ball from going in, but it was just out of reach. He was just too late that it went in. I was like, oh, we are very lucky to have that third goal.
So I always think when a goalkeeper gets the hand to the ball, it's like in American football. I'll use this analogy. If a receiver gets hands to the ball, they should catch that ball. They should. They should catch it. I don't care if it's underthrown. I don't care if it's overthrown. If an elite player, a professional player, gets a hand or hands to the ball, it should either be saved or it should be caught. And in this instance, he fluffed it.
Yeah.
For me, this goal is lucky.
Yeah.
But what do you think it is?
I think it's lucky.
Okay, so we've got goal 1, 2, and 3, good.
Yeah.
Goal 4, lucky.
Yeah.
That's the Arsenal game. We're going to go on to our next segment here. New segment 2, which is hot or cold. I'm going to start off with this one. So the point behind this segment is Ben is going to say if it's a hot take or a cold take. I may discuss why. So my hot take is Chelsea Football Club are a bigger football club than Arsenal Football Club. And I can give you some evidence to suggest why that could be the case. In terms of majors, let's even ignore majors here, because I think that's even a harder argument for Arsenal. Charity shields for me mean absolutely nothing. It's called a charity shield for a reason.
Yeah.
Arsenal have won nothing in Europe. Nothing. Chelsea have won two European Cups and 2 Europa Leagues, as well as a Conference League and the Club World Cup. Actually, and they just won that fucking tournament over here in the summer. From my perspective, what you look at from an Arsenal perspective is they double them on league titles and they have 6 more FA Cups. Aside from that, no. Arsenal are bigger domestically. Around the world, I would argue Chelsea Football Club.
Facts are Arsenal have not won UCL. If you really go into major European cups, Arsenal have won intercities, but that was like back in the 1970s.
Yep.
I don't know if we can consider that. Maybe that's just the charity shield of Europe. And so
next we'll start hearing the Intertoto Cup is important for Tottenham fans.
Obviously, like the Audi Cup is a very important cup, and they win that.
They
often.
remember that, dude.
So
I get told about that a lot.
Yeah. Hey, they won the Audi Cup. That's great. So yeah, you know what? I think if you are measuring I think this is a very splitting kind of take. Right?
It is.
It is.
That's why I chose it.
It's a good take. As soon as I saw the hint for this take, I actually was like, yeah, I think I know exactly what this take is because we talked about this a lot. If you talk about the majors and what has happened in recent history, yeah, Chelsea are actually a more successful club. If you're going to say that they're the biggest club in London, I don't know about that. Largely because they may be the most successful, but I think that overall in support...
So it's difficult.
In London and outside of London.
Arsenal have more total trophies.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have more, at least from my perspective, those 2 Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues.
Yeah, they're huge. They're massive.
Like, Liverpool are not the same club. Mind you, we've won 20 league titles.
Yeah.
But like Liverpool are not like one of the best clubs in the world because of our league titles. They're put there because of 6 European Cups. I think it makes a huge difference to me on how big the club is worldwide. I think Arsenal might be a bigger club in England. Definitely not in the world.
Yeah.
Hot or cold, Ben? You can say lukewarm if you want.
I'm gonna say lukewarm.
Okay. Fair.
I'm not gonna. I don't think it's a hot take. I can't argue against it.
It's tough,
not a cold take. I can't argue against it based on fact. I think it's
I'm looking forward to like Arsenal fans hearing this and telling me what they think about it.
Yeah.
Or Chelsea fans even. If you guys have an opinion.
Do Chelsea fans know football, or do they just go after the successful team?
Most of them were born in 2004, so
Yeah, it's okay. Should we move on to my hot or cold?
Sure.
My hot take is that even if Arteta does not win the Premier League this season or major, there are not a lot of other real options available to lead Arsenal to a major next season.
Ooh. Why?
If Arteta is gone and you bring in someone else, do you think they're going to win a major next season?
No. Mainly, and I'll tell you why no. I think I'm going to go on like a bit of a thing here. I think Arteta has done very well in noticing the trends modern football has gone in and built his squad to almost combat that, So like positional play in the last 15, 20 years has been the way to play football.
Yeah.
And now a lot more teams are playing man-to-man. And the reason why Arsenal have been so good in the last few years is because, at least from my perspective, Arteta recognized that very quickly. And he found players that can play rotational, but are also physical. So they can counteract the man-to-man pressing, but can also play in different situations to deal with it offensively. And I think that, coupled with the squad profile you guys have kind of built, it'd be really tough to bring in another coach and expect him to utilize that squad in the same way. I would argue that's not the way I think a club should be built. If it's built in like the way he thinks it should be built, your sporting director should have those opinions. It should be top down, not middle down.
Yeah.
So that would be my argument. I don't think that's a hot take at all, though. I think that's a cold take.
Okay.
I don't see you guys getting another. So there are a certain subsect of your fan base that would be really mad about that, but it's true. Like, I don't see another guy coming in being able to utilize that squad in the same way.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
think?
fair. Yeah. I think this is one of those splitting conversations in the Arsenal, I guess, fandom right now, where there's a lot of people who say, you know what, if Arteta does not win a major this season, he should be out.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, I can see that argument. I would be very disappointed. I'd be very angry. But there's a lot of other things that are connected to the success of a football club.
I agree.
And so just saying that if Arsenal do not win, it's all Arteta's fault. Yeah, it could be Arteta's fault if he's not making the right decisions.
Yeah.
But largely, he's been making the right decisions.
I agree.
He's been rotating his team. He's been playing the young guys. He's been taking advantage of when he has the advantage to make sure that his team wins. Are there some issues? Yeah, like that Nottingham Forest game was not the best lineup.
Nothing is perfect, man.
Exactly.
The argument, though, is like, I'll ask from like a not Arsenal fan to an Arsenal fan, do you like the way you guys play football?
I loved how we played against Inter Milan in that first half.
Okay.
And that's the thing. I don't love watching. I did not like watching the Nottingham Forest game. I did not enjoy watching that game. I did not enjoy rewatching that game and analyzing it. And that's what bothers me. So, yeah, I want a bit more. I want a bit more creativity and a bit more fun when I'm watching the game. So I'm in this place where I really appreciate who Arteta is. I appreciate what he's done for the club, and I will continue backing him.
Yeah.
But I also have this feeling that if Arteta does not win this season, he will actually gladly step down. I think he'll be like, you know what?
I think his ego is too big.
You think so?
Yeah. He wants to win something.
I think he absolutely wants to win something.
My argument is, if he doesn't win with you, he's going to win with someone else, man.
Yeah?
You've kept him for a reason. I think you just have to see it through.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people will disagree with that take, but that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and that's why, I wanted it to be something that would be divisive.
Yeah.
And I wanted an outside opinion. A lot of people would say, if Arsenal does not win, Arteta should go. Where I'm like, yeah, no, I think that there is no other option really for us with how much we've invested in this team. If Arsenal don't win a major, which I don't think is going to happen, I think they will. They'll win something this season.
As of right now, by the way, listeners, Arsenal, in terms of Opta, are 93.3% likely to win the Premier League. So it's either a foregone conclusion to a degree or a calamitous collapse before the end of the season. And I think it's more likely the former based on how everyone else is doing. And that will kind of put this conversation to bed completely.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens at the end of the season, both in Premier League and Champions League. And hopefully our hot takes will continue getting hotter or colder.
I mean, let's not hope Chelsea win a major this year.
Let's not hope that. Ugh.
Cool. That's Regista Football Podcast, episode 7, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We're out.
Cheers, y'all.
Bye.